babies is killing each other. And that is my passion for being in the street because I don't get paid. I just have to do everything I can to make Washington, D.C. a decent and safe place to live because I was one of those brothers in one of those 10 penitentiaries that had to make the decision. Was our homies and other people going to stay on that penitentiary yard or not? I'm going to say it again. Those places I still call the dead world. And that's what I see, ain't no different from those places and more so in the neighborhood because ain't no codes no more. Ain't nobody word bond no more. And the beautiful thing, when I'm looking at you now, you in school. That means that you have an adequate opportunity to make the right decision. Because when you leave out of here, I know what you have to deal with. You have to deal with a hostile environment wherever you live in, because that's the reality of it. So, since that is the reality, you have to make a conscious decision every day. Are you going to allow the gravitational pull of whatever neighborhood that you come up out of to pull you in? Or you will make a conscious decision and say, look, I'm in the legendary Dunbar High School and I'm going to finish my education. That's the decision that you have to make. I failed. It's not that I was uneducated. I failed when I reflect back on my life. When the teacher asked the question to the class, do you understand? And it was because of my low self-esteem, I didn't raise my hand. I didn't raise my hand. For fear of my classmates laughing or belittling me because I didn't understand. And it took me 23 years of my life for me to educate myself. And this is the reason that I brought 3 of my college degrees. I got 3 college degrees. And when I reflect back on myself, I had to go to the U.S. penitentiary to educate myself. So even though I was in that place 23 years, locked up in solitary confinement, 15 years of those 23 years, I wasn't watching TV all day. I was studying books. I wasn't on the rec yard acting like Steph Curry or LeBron James. I was in the books all day. And when I wasn't working on myself from the perspective of self-examination, I was constantly and consistently working on myself every day because the reality in which I had to deal with was, either I'm going to go in that law library because I didn't have no money for no lawyer. Either I was going to go in that law library, learn the basics of the law, get myself out of there, or die in the field. I made a conscious decision. I ain't doing mine like that. And this is why I want to speak to you young men, because you young men, you're gifted, you're talented, and it's all going to boil down to your decision. And this is why the GDs and the Vice Lords and the Latin Kings and those brothers in California, Chicago called me out there last Friday. And I gave it to them like I gave it to them in the penitentiary. The only difference is now I'm going to be home. Y'all got Jay Prince, they millionaires. Y'all got Lil Durk and those rappers in Chicago, they millionaires. It's just too much killing. And there's a reason it is too much killing. It's too much killing because we don't have the proper respect for one another to go back in those communities and make them a decent and safe place to live. That was my message to them. I left home, got back to Washington, D.C. Sunday morning and kept it moving. Next month in January, the Bloods and Crips called me out there in California because the real leaders of the Bloods and Crips was in the penitentiary. So right now, because they home, they battling for supremacy. The ones that was in the street and the real ones that really call the shots. And that's my message to them out there. When I go, the same way we kept each other alive in those penitentiaries, because one thing about the feds that I was never prepared for was you dealing with people, black, white, red, brown, and yellow from all over the world. I just come out of DC, born and raised. I wasn't doing a whole lot of travel. But what prepared me to deal with people is when I come to you today, I'm a good listener. And that's one of the problems that we have. We think that we know. And that's the most dangerous person on the planet is a half-learned person, because that half-learned person will argue against you when they think that they already know. So I had to go to the penitentiary. And not only that I had to go, my family had to go with me, the ones that truly love me. So the ones that I was running the street with, they ain't do that 23 with me. They might do 2 or 3 years with you in the beginning. I stayed in the jail 36 months before I lost my trial. They had already left in the first 3 years. So when I went to the feds, it was over with, because for some reason, DC prisoners, a lot of us are not federal prisoners. So really, technically, we don't post, the DC prisoners don't supposed to be in the feds, but we in there. So when we go to the feds, I was out Victorville Penitentiary for 6 years. 3,000 miles from Washington, D.C. So you know you're not getting no visitors. These are the things that we got to think about. Because you won't have to be strong enough in yourself to tell the little brothers that's around you, look here, man, look, it ain't worth it. And some of the brothers, I tell them in the community, when you get up to DC jail, don't call me, it's too late, man. Ain't nothing that I can do. And this is why I do all that I can do out of my experience, to say all that I can, because there was a lot of dark days for me, truth be told. I didn't know where I was going to get out at night. You know, and I had to wheel myself every day, because, you know, having 35 to life with no parole, I couldn't, regardless of how much time that I did, I couldn't make parole. So now, I'm a case study down the Supreme Court. They're trying to figure out, how did he not only get himself out, but how did he remain infraction free for all of those years? And how I remained infraction free was, I made a conscious decision while I was in that place, that my decision is my decision. And this is what I see in the first 2 years that I've been home, that some of us are not comfortable making our own decisions. That's what I see. And the differences between inside of those institutions and out here, it can cost you your life. One of the brothers that I come up with dear to me, I've been knowing him since I was 6 years old, Mario, uptown. Mario, I'm 34. He killed me. Never made it home. So I was waiting on a call from him, because I looked at the mail down in the whole CSOC parole system to try to help those guys get out. Didn't make it. You know, see, so, you know, when you dealing with a reality like that every day, you have to make the conscious decision, because the decision always going to boil down to you. So I'm going to take a few questions, because I know you had your hand up, and then we'll go from there. What's your name? Caleb? Caleb, what's the question?
So, I know you talked to football.
Yes.
So, when you did that, when you
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
was it like a bill bad? Like,
It was bad. It was bad. Ain't nothing. There's nothing to let go on to the penitentiary, right? Hold on for a second. Let me explain this, right? Because we like to glorify. And this is what I told the Jews, and I tell some of the brothers out of Washington, D.C. See, this is what I don't like. Somebody telling me as a grown man that I got to go in the cell and go to bed at 8:30. Grown man, you tell me I got to go in the cell. You tell me I can go to commissary, but I can only spend $250 You tell me I can get on the phone, but I can only get on the phone for 15 minutes. I got an issue with that. And that's what kept me alive, because I refused to capitulate to that. I just refused. And this is why, for me, I'm saying that y'all are the greatest generation that ever produced. This is why people don't understand. And I'm looking and I'm saying, y'all ain't listening to that. And there's a reason y'all not listening to that. That's a fact. You got to be some kind of example for y'all. Instead of coming in with precepts and concepts and telling y'all what you should be doing, and first and foremost, what you telling me I should be doing, you ain't. So how can you actually expect somebody to listen? That's why I'm starting along those lines, and that's an excellent question, because I was in the leadership role, and truth be told, I ran things. I had the Ku Klux Klan skinheads, I had the Serranos, Pisces, down south, Midwest, I had all of them represented. Because I had to make the decision for us to stay alive in it. Because just like out here in the street, the only difference is you got people that's trying to prove themselves. Let's go, let's go, let's go. The only difference, bro, is this: when that body drop in the feds, you finish. Whether you right or wrong, once somebody dies in the feds, even though they can have on camera a man coming to you, you take the knife just to defend yourself, but he so happened to die. You still got a life sentence. You finished. So imagine you fighting and trying to get out, but at the same time have to live up under that reality. That's like the streets. What y'all do? Ain't nothing weak about y'all. Nothing. And y'all ain't going for nothing. You ain't gonna let nobody do nothing to you. And that's natural, because the first law of nature is self-preservation. Is to preserve yourself. So you're not going to break the law of nature. Whether you right or wrong, you ain't going to let nobody do nothing to you. That's just what it is. That's the law of nature. So, I honestly tell you, ain't nothing good come out of it for me. Because I had to live with the fact, am I going to let somebody kill me, or am I kill them? So that means I had to put myself in a position where I had to step out front that it don't happen. Because you can't be in environments like that where this is what we should be doing and this is what we should be doing. That's why I'm probably one of the older brothers can go in any neighborhood. Based on my reputation coming out of the feds. I was doing the same thing in the feds. And really didn't care too much who didn't like it or not, because for me, we didn't holler on him. To preserve your life, meaning not put yourself in a position where you have to do. Did I answer that? Okay. Next question. I'm good to see you. I want to be able to pay you. Do you know that a teacher saved lives 25 times more than the rate of a dollar? I'm going to say that again. A teacher saved lives 25 times more than a dollar. So if you ask yourself, okay, how? A teacher has sometimes 20 and 25 students in their classroom. A doctor can only operate or see a patient, one patient at a time. And this is the beautiful thing about respect. Because my tech man had an issue last week with the football team. As I was introducing myself, he had to tell him, give me the proper respect and me introduce myself, because we have a bad habit of not respecting one another. And normally, that creates major issues. Because when you disrespect the person, naturally that person, the normal thing for that person to do is try to stop you from disrespecting. And as students, respect comes from the Latin prefix, read, which means again. Respect means to look at. So in English, respect means to look at it again. And this is why I'm taking my time, and this is why a lot of y'all is upset, and you should be, how people talk to you. Is that right? Am I right? You want respect. Ain't no doubt about it. As a young man, you want respect. But the question is, are you willing to give the respect that you want? Are you willing to give the respect that you want? So as students, you in Dunbar High to get an education. You're not in Dunbar High to be playing games. You're not in Dunbar High School to run up and down the hallway. You're not in Dunbar High to be chasing the little witch. You in Dunbar High School to get you an education. Is that right? I'm going to say it again. You in Dunbar High School to come to school on time, participate in your class, get good grades, and graduate. Is that right? All right. The word education comes from the Latin or Greek word, duco, which means to lead, and the verb ed means out of darkness. So when you are truly educated, you are led out of darkness into the knowledge of the truth. Now I'm going to stay on teacher and student, because today's teacher has to be a case manager, has to be a counselor, because the environment in which we live, even in some of our homes, they broke. That's the reality. So I thank you for giving me the opportunity to say a few words. And I hope that you got some of my experience, what I had to say. But there's no doubt in my mind that if all of us stay focused, that we'll make the right decision, not one time, but every time. And with that being said,